People, anger is the mask. And remember, 2 weeks ago, we had some beautiful young ladies from the Berkeley, from Munson Agnes, and Bermuda High. And they were here with Dr. Daniel. And tonight, I put some pressure on Dr. Daniel. I said, where's the guys? And when I tell you, I have some beautiful young men who the ladies would say handsome. I say beautiful, because we're beautiful people, guys. In studio, you may know some of these names, you may not, I'm sure. If you're from Work Academy, you know Nurayan. Did I get that right, Nurayan? Yeah? And I'm going to ask you guys, when you speak, you got to bring that mic to you. You got to come in close, bring the mic in close to you. You guys project that baritone voice. You see me, I got a baritone voice. So project that voice, right? We got Zai. Zai's from Berkeley. Narayan's from Work Academy. Charles, you're from Saltus? No?
Bermuda Institute.
Bermuda Institute. All right. So, look, I'm glad you guys accepted. I can't even call it a challenge, the invitation to discuss this important subject matter. And I know Dr. Dan was to join us. He's not here yet, but hey, the show goes on. Because, I know you guys can handle this, no problem. And we'll take, let me just say, listening audience, we're just doing an hour with these young brothers. Just like we did with the girls, and no calls. We're listening to young people speak about this important issue that they have been engaged in some workshops and conferences and all of that, dealing with youth mental health and the implications of social media and the violence that comes with that, because social media has a lot of, I say, symbolic violence on it. And so, we want to hear from all of you guys tonight in terms of just getting some of your perspective on how do we wrestle, or how do we address these issues. And let me just start now. I know, Nurayan, you participated in the seminar that they had last week, right, at Bermuda College.
Yeah.
Yeah? What about you, Zai?
Last week I participated on Thursday.
It was on Thursday?
Yes, it was Thursday and Friday.
And Thursday and Friday. And Charles, you had exams, yes. So you prioritize as you should, right? So I'm going to I want to get from Nurayan and Zai first. Give us some insight into, here it is, that particular conference or seminar was addressing youth mental health and the issues of course, social media influence on youth mental health. What stood out for you, for each of you? And let me start with you, Narayan, in terms of when you reflect on last week and the subject matter, what stood out for you on the subject matter?
Yeah, so the main issue is social media, as you said, and really it's a double-edged sword. There's a comparison aspect of social media where we might compare ourselves to unrealistic standards of role models we might have. There's also the vulnerability aspect of it, where our role models on social media might reach out and say they're vulnerable about something, and that might model us to feel that it's okay to be vulnerable about a certain issue or certain topic, or to feel a certain way about something. So while it can have its upsides, it also has its downsides in that aspect.
Okay. Zai?
So my experience was very fun, because we had vast workshops with different people.
Right.
We had some people from Solstice, some people from Bermuda football clubs, and we also had many other workshops, but I only attended 4.
Okay.
Because we could only pick from a certain few. I attended Life Outside the Streets. It was life outside these streets, level up, mind on the ball,
Okay.
and the rage room.
Okay.
So, life outside these streets, we were in a room talking about the social aspect of Bermuda and what's going on in Bermuda as of now, like violence, gangs,
Right.
just stuff like that.
Well, I forewarned you guys, and you guys seemed cool when we did the preliminary stuff. And I said, I'm going to jump right into this here. So, Charlie, I'm going to start with you, man, in terms of, when we playing off of what Zai just said, right? Of course, from your youth perspective in terms of, and we were having a prior conversation, ladies and gentlemen, we see this violence now being acted out by a younger age demographic. Your age demographic, by the way. You're what age?
14.
14. 15. Charlie? 15 and 14, right? And that's the age demographic that has been pulled into this. I mean, horrific violence. And so as the young man that you are, when you bear witness to this here, right? What concerns you most? And I want to hear from each of you. So let me start with you, Charlie.
Well, the thing that concerns me the most is like, what are people thinking when they do this? Like, as it can affect everyone. Like, it's not just the people in the school. It can affect also other people outside of school. Because like, as we know, school fights happen like at Berkeley and Cedar Bridge and all of them, and other schools as well. When I saw them school fights, it actually like kind of messed with me. Like, I didn't like how like other people were like fighting for like, and it'd be over the most unimportant reasons. So like,
You're kind, Charlie. You say unimportant. I say some stupid reasons.
yeah.
When I've listened to others tell me what they were fighting over, I'm saying, are you serious? That madness for that?
Yeah.
Right?
The worst part about what's going on right now is the amount of young people that are experiencing depressing and anxiety symptoms in Bermuda is 5 to 6% higher than than the global average. That was conducted by Dr. Dan in the study in 2022. So that's why, again, the summit was organized and why the Youth Advisory Board was organized, because we need to talk about these issues. It's especially prevalent in Bermuda, where, again, 5 to 6% more people are experiencing these symptoms, and it's horrifying to say, because so many people are experiencing these depression symptoms, and it's like, it's worrying.
Yeah. Zai?
I would say mostly violence and losing loved ones is what is causing most people's depression. Because, like around Court Street, there's been 2 shootings and people have lost loved ones and they've gone into deep depression. And some people are really afraid of losing others in their lives because that would have like a drastic effect on them.
And I don't know how it feels for you guys, and help me to understand this, because of course, and you just touched on it, Zai, I mean, if it's close to you, if it's a relative, you feel that. Definitely. At the same time, when I reflect on the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks that we've gone through this mayhem, this carnage of violence, while the folk aren't related to me, you still feel it. And I feel it from the perspective of not just what it means, what it's doing to Bermuda, but I feel it in the context of, and I'm in the field of education professionally, And so when I hear of it, and especially these ladies, because these are high school, and having worked in the United States of America, that's every day. What we're bearing witness to with high school kids or youth, that's every day, literally. I mean, I've worked in Washington, D.C., I've worked in Cincinnati, Dayton, Ohio, and so that's every day. And I'm saying, my God, this is here in Bermuda. So I feel it differently now, and saying to myself, okay, how far is this gonna go? So when you guys observe this and experience this, what's some of the conversations you're having with your peers around what you are observing when you talk about the issues of depression and anxiety? What's some of the conversations you're having with your peers about this, of how they are internalizing it? Help us out. Any one of you.
Well, I just ask if somebody's okay. Like if I see that somebody's feeling off, or maybe I just see it in their face. Like if they're looking down at the ground, or if they're not interacting as much as they usually do. I try and get them to talk, get them to interact with other people, ask if they're okay. Things like that really make a difference in somebody's day. If they know that somebody cares about them,
Right.
and cares about like how they're feeling.
Okay. Charlie, Zai, any perspective on it? Yeah.
I would kind of say I would try to comfort someone. So there's one day in technical skills, I was talking to one of my friends, and he just seemed really depressed and sad. And I started asking him questions, and then it got to a point where he told me that his older cousin was one of the people who got shot on Court Street.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to comfort him about it and just trying to make him feel better.
Right. You live in Somerset. Charlie?
Yep.
Somerset? What parish?
I live in Smiths.
You're in Smiths. You're in what parish?
Pembroke.
You're in Pembroke. Now, of course, every part of the island is subjected to this here. You ran some stats just now, Ryan. It appears that the concentration right now is coming out of the most densely populated area. We know it's across the island. Let me be clear, people. I'm not picking on any one segment of Bermuda's population per se, but the numbers don't lie. There's a concentration of Pembroke to Devonshire with this here right now, of personnel who are involved. When, as males in your schools, there's been all this territorial types of issues around this. And so coming from Pembroke, coming from Smiths, coming from Sands Parish, how have you had to address some of the, how can I put it, I call it the tribal aspect of it, but the territorial mindset? Oh, y'all from, y'all west boy, you're all east. How do you guys address that? And how is it handled and discussed even in the school on a daily basis? Let's start with Barkley.
So at my school, in the beginning of school, it was kind of like very serious, but now it's starting to like die down.
Right.
So like the first week of school was a lot of fights and stuff, but we moved on, and now it's kind of just regular days at school.
Right.
And Barkley's just natural.
Okay. You're in Smiths. You go Warwick Academy. You're in the Warwick Parish. From a school perspective, what are some of the things that you hear as it relates to territorial. Everyone marking their spot.
Well, I can't really speak that much on the matter because again, I'm at Smith's and like it's like smack dab in the middle, and you know there's always this thing about St. George's versus Somerset.
Yeah.
I don't really have a side because again I'm like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I just go with whatever side's winning. If I'm
Okay.
being completely honest.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Yeah.
So the whole East-West tribal thing, even in terms of some of the gang issues, you really don't have to contend or hear of that much. You're saying, right? Yeah. Charlie, what about yourself?
Well, at my school is actually pretty kind of chill. So we like we don't really hear anything about like gangs and all that stuff. But since I'm from West and like I do hear from like the gangs and like West and East and stuff, I feel like when they fight over that stuff, it's like, how should I say this?
And
I feel
remember, guys, like I said, you're not obligated to answer that which you don't feel comfortable answering. So I don't want the public think I'm putting pressure on you. I am putting some pressure, but I'm not making you answer.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not obligated to answer. You can plead the fifth if you want. Just say, I plead the fifth. That's all.
Actually,
No comment.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, as I'm from West, I feel like gangs and like all this other stuff, I feel like being in the West and East, it doesn't really define who you are. I feel like as a person, who you are and from whether parish that you are from should all get along and like understand everyone's feelings and come together because we're all people of Bermuda and we all should be as one as a family.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this, because I asked the girls this 2 weeks ago, and they had an interesting response. I'm keen in terms of your response to this here. Is it different for you as males compared to the girls with some of these issues? We're talking social media. I mean, the girls, for example, the girls shared how much they are pressured. And Ryan, you spoke to the issues of anxiety and depression, and they spoke to that in terms of how they have to contend with that, having to live up to a certain body image, for example, looks. Now, let me ask you guys, is that what you have to contend with in terms of social media? Well, what's some of the issues that you guys have to contend with? Go ahead.
I mean, like, some boys feel like you have to be perfect, but me, I don't really care. I just live life. And I mean, I do want a six-pack, but gonna have to work for it.
I got you.
Yeah. I don't really have that much social media, so I can't really say that much on the topic.
So what are you telling me? You regulate your social media usage?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go there. You regulate. I would take it that you certainly have the old people's one, Facebook, or Instagram. The youth one, Snapchat. None of those.
No.
What about you, Charlie?
Mainly just YouTube and TikTok.
Okay. All of you, TikTok?
No.
No TikTok for you?
No.
No, right? Seriously?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Wow. Well, you're one of the first. Man. What about you, Zai?
TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok and Instagram.
I choose Snapchat to communicate.
Yeah. You use Snapchat to communicate. You use TikTok for what purpose? Zai and Charlie?
Scrolling.
What they call that?
Doom scrolling.
Oh, doom scrolling. Yeah. I got my education last week. Doom scrolling. I'm a doom scroller. And I just recently started TikTok only because for the purposes of doom scrolling, as the girls shared with me. Oh, you're a doom scroller. because I go on it for the purposes, I got to find research. What are they talking about? Because after I heard that for the youth, TikTok, Instagram, Snap, that's where you're getting your news. You know, it's not, you guys don't turn on the television and watch MSNBC, CNN, CGTN. You guys don't do that, right? You do?
Yeah.
You do? Tell me why you do, Ryan. Tell me why you choose those mediums.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake news on TikTok. You know, like a lot of young people get their news off TikTok just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you brought that up. What is you guys use it, Charlie and Zai, the critical thinking that comes with this, and I'm glad you brought it up in terms of the fake news. I mean, you really have to look at and pay attention to who is sending certain information. Who's sending certain information on TikTok that you know, as we used to say in the day, is it live or is it Memorex? In other words, if it's Memorex, it's fake. And so you use mainstream media primarily, Narayan. I take it you guys don't. Go ahead, Zai.
I mean, like, I would see something on TikTok, but if I don't really believe that it's true, I'll go, like, research it.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Most of the information on TikTok I don't really believe because you know, it's TikTok and most of that stuff is fake from all the people. So I usually, if I see information about stuff on TikTok, I usually just search it up. So
I'm going to ask you guys probably a difficult question. I'm not saying, well, it could be. The data in Bermuda shows your age demographic, especially young black males, in Bermuda at a crisis stage, right? They're at a crisis stage in Bermuda. If you could change schooling today to make it, and you might not want to change it, but let me ask it this way. When you look at what schooling is today for you, what is it that you would change about schooling to make it much more appealing to males? Because there are people who feel and believe that a lot of what is in school does not speak to many of our males, especially young black males. You hear people say, oh, we got to have more hands-on. You know, all we do is give our kids theory, you know, standardized testing. I mean, I take it all you guys are moving toward either your IGCSEs, GCSEs, IB, examinations. Yeah, you're on that track. And so what is it when you recognize what you go to school for, what you are getting, what is it that you would do or introduce that's a little different for today's youth going to school? And I'm deliberately silent until you answer. What would you, when you look at schooling today, you guys look like you meet the status quo. You good boys. You go to school. You participate in all of the extracurricular. You're on the path toward the academics that you're setting out. I don't know. Could be 5 IGCSEs, 4 IB, whatever. What is it that you would do differently? What is it that you would add?
All right, so I know not a lot of schools have this,
Go ahead.
but in work they have a PSHE class. It's physical, social, and health education. It's mandatory. We also have quizzes in the morning. It like brings the homeroom together. So I wouldn't really change or add anything. Maybe the one thing is making extracurriculars like more in the forefront. And I know that like work does that really well, but I don't think a lot of other schools do. So
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, one of the young ladies said, and she goes to a private school, and she made a bold statement. She says, you know, I've been to a public school, I've been to 2 private schools, and I hear what everyone is saying. She made a bold statement. And she said, what people don't understand, what's in public is in private. In some cases, it may not appear as extreme. And her point was that in private, no, there are students who are wrestling with depression, anxiety. They are wrestling with issues of identity. Yeah. And she was very bold and candid in saying, you know, I hear what people are saying. But this is in all of our schools. And many young people, youth, are wrestling with it one way or the other. Now, in Bermuda, of course, we like to make distinctions between public and private parochial schools. And there are differences. There are some differences. We can say so, performance-wise. But when it comes to the social aspects, and I think this is what she was getting at, that don't matter where you are, you can be subjected to some of the very same things via social media. And so, as males, for example, the girls made it very clear. Now, they are subjected to the cyberbullying, image, body shaping, shaming. You guys go, the guys don't go through that, do they?
no.
Not really.
What is it that the guys go through on social media? From your observation and what you listen to?
I think the girls have it a lot harder on social media. Again, with the I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't really say too much about this topic.
I get it. I get it. But I want you to say what you do know about what guys go through. No, I mean, come on. Don't tell me that guys do not deal with certain issues circulated by social media. No? I'm not saying you, but yet I want to know if you, what is it you know that what the males may deal with on social media? Either one of you.
I mean, some people, they would blow out lots of money just to buy clothes because they see a lot of people wearing them on social media. And these are like $300, $400 clothes, like $300 for a pair of denim turd pants.
There you go.
And then like $300 for a top.
Yeah.
And then like, they just spend a lot of money on trying to impress people online.
You're right. And you hit the nail right on the head. That's what I see with a lot of males. I see with the males a lot of the bravado and mimicking, what you see, guys got money and they're showing bills, and I don't know if it's real or fake, but they're posing. They're posing, right? That's what I see a lot of with the males, young males, especially, of course, the connections of hip hop, all of that. I mean, so that's what you see. You see that on TikTok. You see that on Instagram. That's what I see the males dealing with. But you guys say, well, I know Narayan said, well, the girls have it a bit more challenging. But I think the guys do too. I think the guys have some challenges with this.
Well, there is one aspect. There's the masculinity aspect, where men are portrayed to try to, or they have to act tough all the time.
There you go. There you go.
And they can't really show their feelings, or at least that's what it seems. Like, it's not true. You know, we shouldn't perpetrate it, but that's what's going on social media nowadays.
And that is a big issue in terms of masculinity issues. That you, I'm one of the old cats, right? I think I'm an old young cat in my mind, youthful in my mind. At the same time, with what you're talking about, I'm of an era conditioned by a certain masculinity trait. Cry, you better suck it up. You know, you don't show that. No, I grew up with that. Nah, I mean, played sports. Nah, man, you don't sit there and cry because you got kicked. You rub that and get up and keep moving. You feel the pain later. Masculinity issues, right? Is that still a challenge? And I think you alluded to that, Narayan, in terms of that many of the males wrestle with this here. Masculine identity. How do you guys address your masculinity as it relates to living up to a certain image of what people think you as males should be?
Well, I just try to live my life the best way I can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen to it, and that's probably why I don't have social media.
Right.
So, like, that doesn't perpetrate within me as much. But I just try to be happy, live my life, do well in school, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Narayan will be considered a nerd, right?
Yeah.
You considered a nerd too, Josh?
Yeah, actually.
By
I
some
got
peers?
Called, yeah, I got called nerd before. So.
What about you, Zai?
I mean, ish. I like playing video games, but I still like playing sports and stuff like that.
Right. Is playing a sport a get out of jail card from the pressure of your peers still?
In my opinion, not really. Because, like, say if you messed up during sports and you have a bunch of people watching while you made a mistake, right? And especially your friends watching. Once you made that mistake, they'll bring it up in school and say, oh yeah, this guy missed a complete open shot. And, like, it just ruins your self-esteem, like, completely.
Really? I understand it. I'm putting pressure again. I understand it, but you know, as an older guy, I mean, I understand it. I don't relate to that. And I don't relate to it because of my own youthful cultural experience. And you're right, that does go on. But sport was something that shaped my leadership, my identity, my ability to handle pressure. And with what you just spoke to, Charlie, I mean, I played football. One of the sports I played. That was the main one. And the pressure that came with playing. I mean, I played at high level. So mistakes. I remember playing for Bermuda. I let in, and it's the most goals I let in playing for Bermuda, 6 goals, and established that's the only. It was against Canada on a very wintry, cold, rainy, hellish night, and we lost, I think 6-0 or 6-1. Yeah. And came back home, and I had to confront what you just spoke to. And this is masculinity and all of this coming. Where someone said, oh, called me an effing blank. Now, my first response was to verbally attack the person, right? But I exercised some restraint and internalized it and said, long season coming up. I'll see you on the field type of thing. Yeah. Right? And so, I mean, there's merit to what you're saying, Charlie. But at what point do you exercise the courage? Because I think the boys struggle with that. I see the boys struggling with that. The name calling, when I hear people talking about their bullying in my day in a fight, well, okay, we just fight with a bully. Now it has a different connotation. At what point do you choose to defend or walk away? I come up to you, Charlie Fox. Well, y'all punk, Charlie. I taught you a daddy, boy. Y'all soft just like him. I'm just saying. Let's say if my son came up. How do you deal with that? Guys, I'm putting some pressure. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I just don't let it get to me. I just walk away. It's like, if they want to call me that, it's like, it's their problem, not mine.
10 guys say it. How many guys of that 10 walk away, Ryan? 10 guys. I call you that, all in your face. Of those 10, how many are going to walk away?
In modern times in Bermuda, not really. Most people will not walk away. So.
Yeah? What do you say, Zai?
I'll say like one person.
One walks away.
One walks away.
Yeah. Is this difficult? Is this, when we talk, because this is all about your mental health. I mean, you guys have to, as males, have to confront. I haven't gotten to the girlfriend stuff yet, fellas. You know, I'm easing you up on this one, huh? Because how do you, in terms of, one of the things that we talked about with the girls, even in terms of relationship, I mean, social media is used as a relationship magnet for your age group. How do you guys mediate that? How do you contend and use social media from a relationship perspective? You're not obligated to answer. I'm putting the tough questions. I'm putting some of the questions that the girls answer too. And I am putting that type of pressure on you. I want to see if you answer some of the same questions for a reason, not to call you out, because I want the listening audience to understand something. For males, is a different type of pressure with certain subject matter. That's one. That's one. How do you or males, your age demographic, use social media from a relationship perspective? You want to get to know a girl. Do you?
Yeah, again, I don't have social media. So instead, what I do,
What's your communication like, guys? Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I just ask for the girl's number instead. Because I feel like social media is just a waste of time. You know?
Is it? I mean, social media is the go-to thing for your age group.
I mean, like, I'll ask for like your snap, I guess. That's about it.
Mm.
But nah, not really. My social media is like, it's full of video games.
All right.
I don't really like. I focus on like my grades really,
Okay.
and like I just play games in my free time.
So your social media is really for your entertainment outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to playing sports too, you said?
Yes, I
Yeah.
play basketball.
You play basketball. Okay. Cricket, Ryan. What about you, Charlie? Well, you used to play football.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also did track too.
Track, yeah. So this media thing and your age demographic in terms of getting to know each other. There's this thing, and I think, Nurain, you spoke to this earlier, or you alluded to it. The girls do have a different pressure of grooming. I think the boys also are subjected, some are subjected to that. But the girls, to me, seem to be subjected more to the grooming by social media. Well, what's your conversation with the girls when it comes to social media? That's all right. Even if you're not on social media, Nurain, you're in a culture where they talk about it. I'm sure you've been in conversations where folk talk about it. They talk about their Snapchat, Instagram, all of that. Are you looked upon as odd because you do not have it?
I mean, I don't think anybody really knows.
Oh, this is the first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I applaud you because there's nothing to prove to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing to prove to anyone. Charlie?
Well, in the female aspect, in the conversation wise, they do talk about makeup.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm in a conversation with girls and like I hear about them talking about how they should look and how the hair should be done, most of the time they bring up makeup, and I tell them like your natural beauty is who you are. See,
Are you a smooth talker? You're a smooth operator, Charlie. No? No, you just letting them know. Nah, I like your natural beauty.
yeah.
Yeah. You sound like me in 1975. You guys have no relatable anything to 1970 at your age. I was your age. Yeah. But I just sense that these are difficult subject matter for the boys. And it's interesting because I've been throwing things at you because all of that impacts mental health. All of that. All of us are faced with, there are always people wanting us to prove something to them. But I like what you said earlier, Zai, in terms of, a confidence in who you are. Yeah?
Yeah.
But I sense that around the mental health issues, that is more difficult for the males to discuss issues of mental health, their mental health. Fair observation?
I mean, like, some people are scared of being made fun of. And, like, it's like, imagine having mental health issues and the only place that you could really go is around St. Brendan's. If, like...
Maui.
Maui. And...
You see, I use St. Brandon's because, that's my age. That's what we called it, St. Brandon's. I got you.
And, like, someone spots you around there, and then word spreads around school, you're gonna get made fun of.
Right.
For just, like, being around there for yourself. But personally, if someone wants to make fun of me, I don't really care. It's like...
You can handle it, you're saying?
Yeah, just be yourself.
All right.
It's your life to live.
But it's difficult for the males. Most of the guys appear to struggle in... I never went to my counselor as a high school student. And we had counselors in school, all of that. Problems are problems. I grew up in an era where domestic violence was probably a part of more than 80% of the households in the neighborhood. And the stigma of going to a counselor now resonated with certain persons. Now, I was probably like you, Zai, in that, no, I don't need to go. One, I felt I didn't need to go because I had certain friends that we had conversations because we experienced the same things. And I think you brought that up, had the conversation.
You talked about stigma. That's one of the main things that the Youth Advisory Board is trying to combat, and what this the summit was trying to combat.
Right.
The main thing that Dr. Dan found in his survey in 2022 was that the main reason that people don't want to seek help from friends or family, or even a school counselor, you said, or professional help, is because of the stigma of going to somebody. Like, you're not sure what your friends might think of you. That's really the main thing that we're trying to combat in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Who are your, let's say, hypothetically, there's an issue, you have an issue. Could be a relationship issue, could be teasing issue, could be, who are your adult males, your go-to adult males that you seek first, or you have going to first to discuss an issue that may have bothered you and you needed or wanted to hear an adult male perspective?
The male that I would go to first is my dad, obviously.
Right.
I would go to my dad and talk about that stuff. And then the second male that I would talk to is my grandpa.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I really think any like male family member, like an uncle or a dad or a grandfather, really works best because you know them the most.
Right.
Some people might go to like a therapist if
Right.
they're comfortable, like the stigma's not affecting them as much. Some people might go to a teacher, if they're comfortable under the teacher. It really depends on what your preference is.
Yeah.
Who you feel more comfortable around,
What's the most difficult, and all of you, I'm asking the question again, no pressure. There's some pressure, but no pressure to answer it. But I want to know, what's the most difficult subject that you have had with an adult male?
Probably depression.
Okay.
So I had a really good analogy come up to me. It was about how depression is a difference between remembering what a room looks like and then actually walking through the door. It's really powerful because you remember, like, where everything is, you know, what it feels like. But it's actually different when you experience it again, especially for people that are like gone through different stages in their life.
Okay. Any of you? Zai, what's the most difficult subject? Even if you didn't take it to a meal, you were in the presence of other of your peers having a discussion with the meal. Could be a counselor at school even. What's the most difficult subject that you've had with an adult male? You're not obligated to answer. Mom, I got mom here, people. I'm getting mom. I'm not even gonna call mom out on this here, but mom is doing something. Mom is interesting, and you can come here, mom. I appreciate you because you. I'm gonna say this here. Mom was trying to coax you on just now, right? Mom was trying to. You telling me I didn't see what I saw? Mom was trying to coax you on just now. Mom was doing what moms do, right? Mom was doing what moms do, especially with our males. Especially with our males. And I'm going to give you this scenario, all three of you. Not that you're going to go to court one day, right? Hopefully not. Well, you know, you speed, you might. I don't see you guys. Hopefully not. You're 18. You're 18. You have to go to court for speeding. You go by yourself, or you're taking your mom with you.
I would probably say I will go with my mom.
You go with your mom. It's honest.
Oh, it depends where she is. You know, like if she's like on the other side of the island, maybe not. Maybe I might not like have her drive all that way. But like if she's, you know, like in the vicinity, then
well, mom's gonna know that you had to go to court for speeding. You got to court. You got to go to court. She'll know that you got to go to court. At 18 years old, do you go by yourself or do you go with your mom?
Oh, 8, yeah, definitely.
I said
with my
18.
mom. Definitely. Definitely with my mom.
18 years old, you're taking your mom with you.
Yes.
Charlie.
I would take my mom as well.
Why? I'm asking all three of why would you take, you are 18 years old enough to vote, old enough to drive a car, and you're going to take your mom to court to answer a speeding violation. Why? Now I'm putting pressure on you. I want to know why. Because I'm going to treat you like I treat my son's 30 now, but 18 years old? Hell no, you answer that yourself. Tell me why you want, and there's legitimate reasons why, and I'll give you some reasons why some males do take their mother. But give me your rationale for taking your mom to court for your got a speeding violation. I didn't say it's on a bike or a car. It's a speeding violation. Why is it you're going to take your mom or want your mom to go to court with you in Bermuda?
Because they have previous knowledge or have been through an experience like that before in their life.
Why wouldn't you take your dad or a male?
I would take a male with me too.
Okay.
I would take my dad.
Why would you take your mom?
I mean, I would take both my parents.
Okay, why? But this mom's on the table right now.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, she has the experience to deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
and also if I tell her before, then she won't get madder at me later.
Okay.
Like if I lose money on the ticket, like, and then she knows, then I'm gonna be in bigger trouble. So better to have her know before. To like,
You're 18 years old. You're eligible to vote.
kind of like what they said, past experience. Like if my mom had a ticket before, I will also take her to court and help plead my case.
All right.
But also, I will also take my dad too. But
Right.
as you said, we're taking our moms. But that's basically it.
Do you know one of the main reasons why males, I don't agree with it, but why they take their mom to court with them? Why you think? You're 18 years old, you're eligible to vote, and you're going to court with your mom on your side. The judge says, Narayan, please stand. You were found speeding, doing 60 plus kilometers on the causeway. How do you plead?
I would plead innocent.
Okay, you plead innocent, and I'm giving you a scenario, and then your mom interjects and, excuse me, ma'am, hold on. This is not your offense. This is this 18-year-old's offense. I need to hear from him. You're pleading not guilty.
Well, I would bring her because like she is always gonna vouch for me. You know, even when I'm probably guilty.
Okay.
Yeah, she's always gonna have my back.
All right. And I appreciate you sharing that, because that's how many. My brother was a lawyer. Was a judge, a magistrate. And that was one of his biggest pet peeves. And he's had to silence a number of mothers in court. He's 18 years old. Why are you speaking for him? He's 18. He can vote. If he can speed, do 60, he can tell me why he thinks he's not guilty. I don't need mom speaking for me, even if she got my back. Yeah? Has mental health implications in Bermuda courts. That's a security issue, a self-esteem issue, a confidence issue, but it's also a strategic issue in Bermuda. Because the other side of the coin is you're anticipating that the judge is going to go a little sore because mom is with you, right? You'd be surprised how many males have followed that script. Sometimes it has worked, most times it doesn't. But it's used for that reason, and that's a confidence, a self-esteem issue, all of that. And I believe that as an 18-year-old, now you got to speak for yourself. It's different when you're 13, 14. Yeah? What's some of the, on this whole issue, guys, in terms of mental health and youth, what would be a closing statement each of you would make as a plea to adults? What is it you want to see from us as adults in support of you as youth around this issue of not just social media and mental health, but just mental health support generally? What challenge do you put before us adults to support you?
Well, I would say that we need your help, but we can also make our own decisions for ourselves. And that's kind of why the Youth Advisory Board was made, because, our motto, nothing about us without us. So, decisions shouldn't be made without, decisions about youth shouldn't be made without the presence or the affiliation of youth.
Okay, that's Ryan. Zai? What is it you want us as adults to understand, to support youth here in Bermuda as it relates to the issue of social media violence, the mental health issues. What is it you want us adults to do?
Just kind of support every kid no matter what. Like, some kids may look fine on the outside, but in the inside they're really hurting, and you may not know. But I would say, as my ending remark, I would say look out for everybody, no matter what.
All right.
Because you may have an opinion or a thought about somebody, like how they're like a bad person, or they're always playing or joking around, but like in the inside they only do that because of what's going on at home, or because of deep depression and sorrow.
Okay.
And hurtfulness.
All right. Charlie?
Well, my remark is mental health matters to everyone, not just older people, but also youth. Because I feel like if we get a better observation of the youth, we can also connect with the people that are way older than us. And so when we combine together and help the youth and the older people, it can bring us all together and hope.
I appreciate that. Dr. Dan, you joined us. Any closing statement from the perspective of the work being done? I'll just say these gentlemen have handled it well. I put some pressure on them. I went a different way. I mean, I got the list of the questions, but I just played off of their spirit. I had to put some tough things, but
knowing you, I'm sure you gave him a few curveballs as well. You didn't go that easy on them, I'm sure.
I didn't go somewhat I did. I eased up a little, but I out of fairness, they knew that you're not obligated to answer, and they took on some of the questioning. Yeah, but go ahead.
There's a concept called anti-fragility.
Go ahead.
It's made popular by a researcher in the US, and a number of people may have heard of this term actually from another psychological researcher called Jonathan Haidt, who wrote The Anxious Generation. And he talks about anti-fragility a lot, because he says that even though we're talking about mental health, we're talking about rising mental health rates amongst our young people, or high rates of mental ill health amongst our young people, we have to avoid this tendency to then think, therefore, young people shouldn't struggle at all.
Right.
That we have to protect them from everything. If anything, the overprotectiveness is problematic. And young people, just like ourselves, but particularly young people, are anti-fragile. What does this mean? Anti-fragile means that you actually become stronger as a result of adversity. Our goal is not to take away the struggle, the ability to feel challenged, to feel pressured at times. They have to go through this so that they know they're strong enough to come out on the other side. So be it we're talking about social media, violence, mental health in general, young people can endure a lot. I'm not saying we should...
They can be very resilient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should be pushing and advocating for there to be longer time on social media or more violence amongst our young people. But if we make the goal to end all suffering, I think we've missed the point. The point should be, we need to equip them as much as possible with the skills that they need, but more than just the skills, the relationships. They need to know that there are people that will be there for them, to support them no matter what. As I was saying, right? Support them no matter what. You feel that unconditional love, you feel that unconditional positive regard, you can move mountains.
Right. And is it fair, this anti-fragility that you speak to, is it fair to say, it's necessary for our youth to wrestle with difficult things, hard times,
Absolutely.
things that don't go their way, that challenge them, may even press them, not that you want them to have anxieties or depression, but it's a way of life.
Yeah. I mean, I even think about, so Narayan was one of my debate students at Warwick Academy. I made it very clear to everyone when they started debate, I said, a number of you are going to cry in this class. You're going to come up the front, you're going to have to speak in front of everyone, and even if you're up there and you're silent and you freeze,
I love that class.
you're not sitting down until you talk, until you see out your full time. And there were a number of students, Narayan will remember this, where they got up the front, they cried, they were really upset, but they kept coming back. And by the end, we had too many kids coming to debate because they knew that this was a place not where they necessarily felt safe, but they could feel safe to be challenged. You know, where just because they
I think
failed
we're
doesn't mean-
overprotective of our children in Bermuda from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing that. But I just find, okay, there in my generation, these are some soft kids, man. They're challenging, a lot of resilience, but pressing them to the point of, nah, you got to experience this, you got to feel this, you got to bounce back from this failure, this difficulty. I just think sometimes we want to make it, not that you have to feel pain about the game, but it's too soft. No, you got to go through this life challenge and hardship and bounce back, because you can. And that court example is one of them in Bermuda. Males in Bermuda's courts are emasculated. That's a fact. If you can go to family court, you can go to magistrate court, observe males handling their case versus the females. Easily emasculated. Some of it brought on by themselves, because not having the confidence to express. When you talk about the debate, you got to cry, you know? And so I'm just curious in terms of how we begin to move our males to that position of comfort. And I think the guys captured that to some degree, right? They captured that. But look, I appreciate you guys coming in, taking on the challenge. It's not going to be the last time. We have these type of conversations on many things on all fronts, but I appreciate you guys coming in and starting it off. Like I said, it's not a comparison what the girls did, the boys did. This is what you feel, what you did. And I think you responded to the questions honestly, genuinely, right? And I think that's what's important. And you spoke about it. You'll walk away from it. I don't have to deal with it. Okay? It's not personal. Yeah. Stand your ground on who you believe you are. Yeah? Well, look, thanks for coming in, guys. And
thanks, Dr. Lou.
Yeah. Listening audience, I'm going to let these beautiful people out. I'm going to play something, and then when we come back, we got an open forum on anything that you may have heard. I know there's a lot of perspective opinion out there. There are a lot of current issues and events we want to address. Feel free to have that conversation tonight. And hey, let's be a part of the solutions, people. And let's listen to our young people. They got something to share with us. Yeah? Good night. Go ahead, guys. I'm going to play something, and I'll lock the door. Mom, you can take the key. Yeah, when I come out. Yeah. I'm just going to play something, and here we go. I've got a quick turnaround. Listen up, audience. I'll be right back. This is some Saheed.
That when a murder is committed with unusual brutality, it typically means that the killer had a personal motive, that they were driven by some sort of intense emotions against the victim, whom they wanted to humiliate and annihilate through extreme violence. This usually indicates that the killer himself has severe insecurity and a sense of his own inadequacy. This, in my opinion, is the psychological profile of the West, of the colonizing nations. Their brutality against the Muslim world has been extreme, And I don't just mean in terms of violence, but brutal in their attempts to erase culture, erase the civilization of the Muslim world. And in fact, all of the cultures of the global south, generally, it has a conspicuously personal nature to it. They're not only trying to pillage our resources, they're trying to annihilate our identities, our civilization. Because as I said last week, they see our resources as some kind of a divine endorsement of our people, as an honor given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to our people that was not given to their people. And furthermore, they see our civilization itself as a threat to their own self-worth as a rival so-called civilization. So they want it erased, just like a vindictive and envious murderer who kills because the mere existence of his victim is an unbearable reminder to himself of his own inadequacy. You know, it's like a stalker who spirals out of control and eventually wants to destroy the one with whom he is obsessed. This is the West and the Muslim world. This is Western so-called civilization and Muslim civilization. You know, I spoke last week about how the mentality of Western supremacy, which rationalized colonization, how this developed, in my opinion, out of the West's inherent sense of being deprived, and how that sense of deprivation was the result of their own actual lack of both material natural wealth and lack of civilizational merit. That this supremacism of the West is a form of compensating for inadequacy, which is why it so typically manifests in violence and aggression. If you want to frame this in the parlance of so-called alpha male, beta male social hierarchy theory, then colonizers are beta and the colonized are alpha. The colonizers harbor feelings of inadequacy and envy towards the perceived superiority of the colonized, who represent the alpha males, possessing inherent strength, resilience, and cultural richness. These beta colonizers are driven by jealousy and insecurity, and they seek to compensate for their sense of their own inferiority through aggressive and vindictive behavior towards the colonized populations. They resort to violence, they resort to exploitation and cultural erasure in a desperate bid to assert their dominance and to validate their own sense of their self-worth, because without violence and aggression, they don't possess the innate merits that would elevate them to natural authority. Thus, they need to impose domination as a substitute for authentic authority. Beta colonizers exhibit traits of what is popularly referred to as toxic masculinity, manifesting hypermasculine displays of dominance, aggression, and control. Masculinity in this context, of course, is, in this framing, denotes any sort of powerful, purposeful, respected identity, sense of identity. They perceive the alpha colonized as a threat to their masculinity and their social status, which just fuels a vicious cycle of oppression and violence. Colonizers grapple with profound feelings of insecurity, in my opinion, and apprehension, stemming from their relentless pursuit to uphold power and control over colonized people. You can't be at peace like that. So these sentiments then manifest in various forms, including the ruthless use of violence and oppression to quash any and all resistance and dissent, alongside the establishment of rigid social hierarchies and discriminatory systems to legitimize their false supremacy. They need to do that because they can't establish their supremacy on the basis of being superior. In essence, the psyche of colonizers is a sort of complex interplay of superiority and insecurity, dehumanization, and internal conflict. The psyche of Western colonialism, Western colonization, is a phenomenon that can be likened, I think, to the insecure narcissist, seeking validation and dominance at the expense of others. Western colonial powers, driven by deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and inferiority, embarked on a mission of conquest around the world and exploitation, just to disprove to themselves that they are, in fact, inferior as a civilization. They adopted a civilizational persona of superiority and entitlement. They justified colonization as a civilizing mission, masking their actions with claims of moral and cultural superiority, primarily because, and precisely because, in their heart of hearts, they knew that the opposite was true. I mean, consider just the contrast between Europe at the beginning of the Crusades and the Muslim world at the beginning of the Crusades. Europe, during the early Crusade era, was characterized by feudalism, a hierarchical system where land was owned by feudal lords and worked by peasants in exchange for protection and a share of the crops. It was inherently unfair. The majority of the people in Europe lived in rural areas and were engaged in agriculture with farming techniques that were primitive, and crop yields were relatively low because their technology, their understanding of agriculture, even though they were dependent upon agriculture, their actual understanding of how to do agriculture was very limited and very primitive. I mean, cities existed, but they were smaller, much smaller, and less developed compared to the urban centers in the Muslim world. I mean, sanitation alone and living conditions in European cities were abysmal. They had high rates of disease and mortality as a result of their lack of sanitation and so on, cleanliness and hygiene generally. I mean,
All right. I'm going to pause that right there, and let's have some open dialogue. If those of you who were tuned in listening to our young people tonight, it's an interesting perspective when we have conversation with our boys. And that experience with those young boys, those young men, I wasn't surprised. They revealed some of the cultural norms and challenges that our boys have. As open as they were, it's typical with certain questions of how guarded our boys tend to get with certain subject matter compared to, our girls. And in Bermuda, I observe this quite often. And that's also why I put that last scenario to them, because that reveals something also. Not calling mom out, but she was doing what a lot of our moms do with our boys. Attempting to have it speak for him in a sense, or get him to speak what she believes he should be saying. And an 18-year-old, and that's why I put that there, 18-year-old. And it was interesting to me, unanimously, all three of them. No, I would take my mom. I would want my mom come with me to court at age 18. And I listening to something like that for, if I'm a father, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that, especially with many of our males. Now, you 18, you answer that on your own. I'll talk you through it before you get there, but you answer that at 18. I appreciate you calling, caller. You're on all fronts. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Lou.
Good evening, dear.
I'm a mother.
Mm-hmm.
My son got killed in a road traffic accident.
Condolences.
But when he was alive, he did have to go to court for an offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he begged the police, please don't tell my mother I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And he had money to pay his fine. He was working, paid his own fine. I didn't have to pay it. And the way I found out, I worked in the courts, and one of the judges told me. So I went straight over there, and he was livid. He didn't want me to know.
Yeah.
He said he would rather deal with the police than deal with me.
How long ago was that, Mom?
1990.
Right. And
he was terrified. He did not want me to know.
And how old was he then?
He would have been probably about between 16 and 17 years old. And he was speeding.
Yeah.
And he gave the wrong name to the police, you know what they do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All of us have been down that rite of passage.
Yeah. So
yeah. and then have to answer for the consequences of that action.
Yeah, but he didn't want to deal with me.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Mom, because again, that gets to something that Dr. Dan was talking about when he used that term anti-frigidity. Just the fact that your son knew that, look, I'd rather deal with the courts first than have my mom.
Don't tell my mama.
Don't tell my mama. Yeah.
The policeman.
Yeah. And he had to deal with it
my
himself. and there are many who went that path. Nah, don't tell her. But interestingly, what I found interesting in the scenario that I gave, that unanimously all those boys saw at age 18, they want their mom there with them in court.
He didn't want me there.
and I'm saying, man.
He did not want me there. He didn't want me to know.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is the case with all, but it is the case with too many in Bermuda at this age group.
Yeah. But he told the policeman, he said, my mom was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather deal with you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I don't want to deal with her.
But I appreciate you sharing it, though.
Yeah, but
it places a perspective on it. But I just think, some things, our children, our boys, they have to confront it.
But he was very responsible. He worked. He paid his bills.
Mm-hmm.
He got in a little bit of trouble with the bike. But I went on the police station, and I told the policeman, I said, lock him up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because, see, he knew what the consequences were. I mean, there were some of us discussing it, and this is relatable to some people. I mean, growing up, I was told by my parents, don't let me see you standing on the corner. If I do, this is what will happen, type of thing. And some families, you went through that. I mean, there was always certain boundaries, but when it comes to our boys having to plead their own case at 17, 18, I think today I just see too many with mom on their coattail. Yeah.
I know.
No,
but you know what, Dr. Lou?
You have to deal with that yourself in court or whatever.
You know what, Dr. Lou?
Yeah.
The policeman refused to lock my son up.
And
he said, you know what he told me?
Because he knew who mom was, that's why.
No. He said, if I lock him up, he's going to have a racket.
Well, see, and
it's going to be on his racket, and if he ever wants to go to college, because my son was very bright.
Right.
If he ever wants to go to college or university, that's going to be on his racket.
Well,
that's what he told me.
That was an officer with a community sense.
And it was an English policeman, not a black one.
Well,
policeman.
That was a police officer who had a community sense during that time, because he's right. During that time, there were, if you had those type of infractions on your racket or any kind, there would be certain colleges during that time would frown upon it. Yeah. Or use it against you, let me put it that way.
And he said that it would affect him the rest of his life, and he refused.
Yeah.
He would not lock him up. He said, I said, look, I just want you to teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
Because if you lock him up for one night, he probably won't do this nonsense again. That's what I said.
Well, that's a police officer that's looking to work with you. That's what that was.
Yeah, he wouldn't lock him up. And I called my husband. He came down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I was ready to kill him, Dr. Lou. I was ready to kill him. I told him, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out.
Well, again, that's why he said, don't tell my mama, please. Please don't tell her. Yeah, don't tell my mom. But I thank you,
My
darling.
mama-
I appreciate
He
you
said,
sharing
my
it.
mama's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her.
Yeah, he didn't want you, he didn't want you kicking off your shoes in the courtroom and going upside his head. So he understood. He
Oh, I
understood.
didn't even make it in the building.
There you go.
He had paid his money and got out before I got there.
There you go. He knew what to do best.
Yeah, but what I want to say to parents is,
Mm-hmm.
you must let children be responsible
Mm-hmm.
for what they do.
Yeah.
Don't cover up for them, because when you cover for them, they go through life looking for somebody to hold the bag for
Well,
them.
they're looking for. Look, all of us have had some bailout at some point in our lives, but there are certain things that you got to answer to for yourself.
Yeah.
And I, I think I just see too much of
think
that.
that
I
our
see too
children
much
are-
of it with our boys.
Our children are spoiled, Dr. Luke.
Well, there's some of that. There's some of that. There's some of that entitlement.
Yeah.
And I'll say this here too, and it'd be interesting to get other people's perspective on it. There are parental concerns and people's fear in terms of how their boys may be treated by law, by the courts, or
Yeah.
intimidated by it. That's fear. That people have that issue, that concern. But I still maintain, nah. And it's like you said, you must take, at 18 years old, you must be responsible.
Now, I think that
You must take a responsibility
I
at
think he
18
was
years old for
16.
certain things. Yeah, even
was
at
16.
even at 60. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in 1990.
Yeah.
You go into court as a 16-year-old for speeding. Now you have to answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But most of all, it's got to answer to me.
there you go. In the home first. Appreciate you. Family values first, dear. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right now.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. We listening to those boys. You hear people will say we coddle them too much. Even in relationship to some of the violence that we have. I mean, there are the sentiments out there right now that many of the young men who are perpetrators of some of these violent acts are the ones who are, people allegedly say, it's an assumption, that they are the ones who are controlling the household. That they are, you're going to get the judgments, the assumptions, and everything. But there are people who have those sentiments that these are boys, and you heard the boys here, that's their age demographic. The age demographic right now of the most violent crimes, not just in Bermuda. What we see in Bermuda is a global trend, if you want to call it that. That age demographic between 14 and 35 are the age demographic who are really behind or perpetrators of some of the most violent acts in our society. And they've even broken it down to from 14 to age 20 with certain types of acts. This whole thing warrants, our full responsibility. That's all I'm saying. I just found it interesting that with these group of boys that I had tonight, I mean, they were honest, but they certainly struggled with some of the questions. And I gave them that out. Not that they couldn't answer, they didn't want to answer. Good night, you on all fronts. Turn your radio down.
Yeah, good evening. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah, thanks a lot. Some static in the background, but it's not too bad. Go ahead.
Oh, all right, let me turn it down some more there.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I was just what you were saying about this gossip and putting the clothes up on me and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That there, to me, is real sore because when I came up, and I'm thinking my 60s, I'm telling you right. When I went court for speed, because I done it, and I had to ask for the crime.
Right.
It wasn't about go get mommy and daddy and all that. I was old enough to eat up and down on my baby land. And I'm going to be old enough to go to court to say, yes, I was guilty, pay the fine, and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll tell you what else. I got locked up. And I didn't even tell my mama. Didn't tell mama what day.
Right.
And I refused to send them a visit. Because I was wrong. I knew I was wrong. And I had to face up to my, crime.
Right.
Like you said, I was 18, I was old enough to, know what's right and wrong. They told me, they gave me foundation, and now it's up to me. It's just like, that's why I tell my grandchildren nowadays, you would die in the jungle. Because when a lion does to get some food to feed, kill something to bring it in for your children, she tells them, look, hide. The hyenas will come. The hyenas hate us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't hide, when I come back, I'll be calling for you. And if you don't come, that means the hyena got you.
Right.
You only have one chance. But humans, like, you got to tell them about 200.
Do you think? Let me just
thing over and over again.
Let me ask you this here, and before I take the next call, do you think men of our generation are somewhat harsh toward when I listen to these youth speak? A lot of static in the background. When I listen to the youth speak, I was listening to these boys and I'm saying, if these were my sons at 18, I know how I'm going to handle you. Do you think we are probably too harsh? No. To me personally, I don't think that was too harsh. I think they're being pampered too much. At my age, like I said, like right now, there's too much. You gotta take care of them. You gotta get them constant. I got a good slap upside the head when I done wrong. My neighbor came and slapped me upside my head. Right.
My uncle came and slapped me, and I learned.
Right.
What was right, what was wrong. My mama told me, but I was still bullying.
Yeah.
And when I got my slap upside the head, I say, I can do that again.
I feel you.
And right now, it's like, to me, it's like, to me, it's just soft. That's how I see it. They're very soft. And they want to be confident. Man, 70 years, 18, you got to go out there and start.
I will say this. I will say this before taking the next call. I will say, an 18-year-old today, I mean, comparatively, there are certain protections that we have of 18-year-olds today compared to maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I think it's because of societal pressures. And that's why I wasn't surprised that, while I was disappointed, I wasn't surprised that our boys, those all three of them unanimously, I want my mom to come along with me.
Yeah.
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 I wasn't. I wasn't.
talked to you anyway.
I just
know
wasn't
I talked-
surprised.
I
I
talked-
wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I was hoping to hear something different, but I wasn't surprised.
One of them say no. I'm going to answer it myself.
Yeah, I
But
wasn't.
not one of them did that. All of them,
Yeah.
my mama, my daddy, yeah.
And not blaming them. I also I see. It warrants a deeper discussion, but I've had conversation with their age group, and that's a mindset with many of them. Now I'm taking my mom along with me. Yeah. Thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Cool. Good night, you on all fronts. Good night. Hello. All's well. How you doing?
Yeah, our young leaders there. Good evening.
Yeah, and these are some bright young guys, man. I mean, they are articulate, as they are. You know, I mean, what I experienced and observed in the Q&A I had with them is also it's typical. I mean, I expected them to be guarded with some of the questions or their responses. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question for them.
Go ahead.
I
mean, they've left, but what would be the question that you would have put to them?
Okay. This social media, this internet,
Yeah.
completely out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No. When they decided on that cut over to fiber,
Mm-hmm.
they had brought in these technicians from China, young guys, and I was working along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling me, like, in China, you just don't go on the internet as you like.
No, not in that
It's
society.
control.
Yeah, their media,
Certain days and certain times.
and they don't use TikTok the way the Western
I know.
society
Exactly.
uses TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and when you do go on, you can just go on any site.
no,
You know what I'm saying? It's really controlled. And maybe that's what, hey, you need to do.
Well, I mean, if you look at the nonsense that's going on with the U.S., Trump's looking to get some control over TikTok. You know, between him and China, between the U.S. and China, not yet, not successful, but different motive, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Different motive, but on this side of the planet, folk use those mediums mainly more so for entertainment.
Yeah, over there they use for educational purposes.
It's strictly educational purposes. Yeah,
Definitely.
and I've been to Singapore and I've seen evidence of that. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, bro.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
You're take care.
Cool. I would even, even with AI, I was listening to something yesterday, actually. And of course, there is all the concern. Please hold, caller. There's all the concern about AI in our future. And interestingly, there are steps now to add some new provisions to Chat GPT, and in terms of how it is being used, especially in education circles, for some of the same reasons that we were just speaking to. They find that many people are using Chat GPT too commonly now, that study shows it has implications for people's lack of critical thought. People have become dependent on Chat GPT to define things for them. And I'm trying to think if it was Harvard or Cambridge University, one of the two, or MIT, where the study they were speaking and showing how there's more evidence of people having lack of critical thought process because of their dependency. But go ahead, caller.
Brother Lou,
Yes, sir.
how you doing tonight?
All's well, my brother.
It's good. just caught the tail end of the interview with the young man.
Yeah.
You would admit that we held on to our children too long.
I think I agree with you, Rodney. I mean, and mind you, we understand that economics in Bermuda is the dictate of that. Unless unless we got your capital where I'm putting some pressure on you. Where I mean, come on, 18, 19. Those our eight. Let me put it this way: our 18 and 19-year-olds who go overseas to college, they have that first experience of what it means to manage your own apartment, room, all those responsibilities. Yes, they're calling home and all of that, but at least they get that exposure. I think, unfortunately, for many of our young people, especially our males, that's why many of them are still stuck in the home at age 25, 30, 40,
50.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but Brother Lou,
and economics.
You're failing to acknowledge that Mama would put out the girl and hold on to the boy.
Yeah. Well, I know, but
hello.
No, and that's to some degree that was demonstrated here tonight. Not from a perspective of this is not a judgment. It's just it's almost like a natural thing, a protective thing that moms are geared to do. Where
okay.
I got to do this for my son because he's going to be treated differently. Well, some know that and there's a fact in certain. No, you and I have spent our time in the U.S. and you are treated differently.
But let me say this here, Brother Lou.
But with it also, you go ahead.
Yeah, that as you mentioned, the 14 to 35s we're having trouble with.
Yeah,
and most, I could be wrong, but most of them that we're having trouble with are living in houses headed by women. And so I've made the bold statement before that they're not running the gang. Grandma is. Because you can't be in a house where these young boys have got guns, drugs, and women coming in and out, and you don't know nothing about what's going on?
Yeah, they know.
I can't hear you, Brother Lou.
No, they know. It's known.
You're going quiet. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. So somebody knows because Grandma's taking trips.
Yeah.
Grandma just has some new appliances sent to the house.
And we got to be honest about the conversation with that because to give both sides, I mean, there is a lot of that. You're absolutely correct. And in communities or on the street, no. The street tells the truth about that.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is that they will jump on you with their boys. They will beat on you. They even shoot at you and hurt you and harm you. But the same young man that I talked to him up at Westgate, what's their reaction? They cry like babies.
Yep.
I can't hear you. They cry like babies.
Yep. No, I feel you.
Let me just say that, one of the things to keep any young man out of trouble is called work.
Work, that's right.
Come on, there are 4 benefits that are derived from work. Work regulates your time.
Yeah.
And if your time is called upon and it's regulated, it's not going to catch you down the street doing a pack of nonsense.
And I will say this here too, Rodney, because you would know this here, especially with your background, knowing you're absolutely correct. And economics is tied to so much of what we see with our young males right now, especially young black males. And we don't do with what the demands are and needs are right now. We don't do enough to not prepare but direct. Some of you have to direct, man, to the path, to a path. And what I mean by that is, for example, I was given this scenario, and give me your perspective. I mean, you're someone who's in the in the construction industry. You've done some things there. But for example, I have a great appreciation. I was looking at the young people who were just recognized by the Endeavor program in their maritime program, right? And that's for the sailing. And you and I know, I'm looking at Marine and Ports, for example. I'm going to use them as an example. I can look at Marine and Ports and say, okay, in the next 4 or 5 years, they're going to have some open spaces because of retirement. And I'm saying, man, pilots, these are pilots. What is it we could be doing to, I think you need to put people, direct people sometimes in a path where they can find themselves as opposed to be waiting. And I'm saying we need to set up more of those types of bold apprenticeships. Even if Lou decides 4 years later that's not what he wants to do, he's going to do, at least I have directed you toward a path and opportunity where you have developed a skill set, training. It's opened up other possibilities of, you may have started off as a pilot, but you go off into other fields of engineering. But I just think we need to be directing people, some of them, on this path. And as yourself, as one who goes up to the prisons, I think that's a venue where we need to start.
So
the training and building.
To say that before a young man takes hold of a gun, before he gets known as the community drug pusher, before he busts out in violence, that before all of that heavy stuff happens, or more than likely had him come before a magistrate or a judge, before he's gotten to that hard point of no return.
And here's your options.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah, here's your options. This is where you're gonna go.
We do have a system. We do have a system that catches them.
Yeah. And Warren Wolf talks about this, but I think we need to build on that there. Because we have that opportunity to say...
I'm got the program. I offered it to Michael Dunkley.
I remember that years ago, yeah. And it's still something that we need to be doing, that we're not doing with it.
The point that I'm making is that we have a net that catches them.
Yeah.
We know. We know.
We have a net, but we just open that net with a bigger hole by letting them slip right through, and then we want to deal with the...
Only because the system operates by being broken.
Yeah.
Got to catch it.
Yeah.
We're talking about lives. Lives of young man that, if caught and redirected, could become productive citizens.
Yeah.
Meaning that you often heard me say, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, has been changed to reading, writing, and relocation.
Yeah.
Hello, give them a chance.
There you go.
Give them a real chance at life.
And the thing about it, we got
in Bermuda.
We got enough chances and tasks around here where we can begin to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Come on.
I got you.
When scholarships come up, 15, 20 girls, and maybe 1 or 2 boys, maybe.
But even that, Rodney. But change the scope of that. Who says? Why not scholarships toward those other areas that we're talking about through an apprenticeship path, as opposed to the traditional scholarship of academia? You get me? You can give scholarship through internship and apprenticeship. And out of that, with your concept, for example, I want you in 2 years, as you go through this here, you also have to develop. I'm going to show you how you must develop your business plan, and not just your business plan, other life plan that goes with it. Here's why you must set up a trust versus a savings account. Things like that there. Bringing into those type of fiscal possibilities around a re-education, a reset and a relocation. Those are the type of things that we need to be doing with this here.
Of course. Of course. Now, you are familiar with the book. You are familiar with the book. The spook is set by the door.
Yes, man. Yeah. You spoken out about, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm saying, as difficult as it may be, there's an opportunity for somebody to make it.
All right.
And all I'm saying is that I tried to tell these young men that they've just become firewood. And if they're firewood, they're being burned.
Yes, they are.
Keeping somebody else warm.
But that's why they're burning others too.
Lives at Westgate, employing 150 prison officers. They're spending their lives at Westgate, keeping judges and lawyers and nurses and doctors employed. They're spending their lives at Westgate.
Yeah.
Then, if they were to make some different decisions, they could have a real chance at life.
But with it means we have to provide and open those other options and opportunities. We got to be creative with this. Thanks a lot, brother.
Of course.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Hey, people, look, we're coming at the top of the hour, and you know, I enjoyed the conversation with the young men we had here tonight. You know, boys to men. But it speaks to the work that we have to do. I'll take one more caller. Good night, caller. You're the last caller for the night. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Lou. And
yes, sir.
I came in a bit. I didn't hear your interview with the young men.
Right.
But it seems as though that I'm going to take it back a little bit. I'm not going to be too long, but just hear me out.
Real quick, it's the top of the hour.
Okay, here we go. You know, Dr. Lou, our children from the beginning, and we as parents, our children did not ask to come here.
None of us did.
That was a decision amongst the parents or people who wanted to have children.
Well, that's for most of us. That's all of us.
All of us.
Yeah. But we're here. We're here, so what we can do with what we have.
Okay. Knowing full well the wrongs and rights that they could be involved in or not be involved in before they got here. Now they're here, and you're trying your best to conduct these children in the manner in which they should be corrected and controlled to come up in the society.
All part of parenting and child rearing. You know, a difficult process.
Raising and all of that.
A very difficult process.
Now we come up with a society that tells you and takes away from you the way of correcting your children.
All right.
You, as the parent, should be the first one to see that you need to be corrected. You need to be put in a disciplined mindset from the parents first, not from what someone says, oh, you should do this and do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. And the children are now turning up your face. You can't do this, you can't do that. I have no way of correcting you where there is now your child could take you to court because you corrected them. You're trying to correct them in a manner in which they're going down the wrong path, and you have no way to really make them understand that what they're doing is wrong. And now you're blaming them.
You know what I say? Let me just say this here. You know what I say about that?
What?
Yes, that law is there, but it's for those persons who subscribe to that. And what I mean by that is, I as a parent, okay, I as a parent, yes, that is there. But I'm placing my parental responsibility and family values above any law, any
Right.
court system.
Yes.
Number one,
Yes.
my household, my
Right.
value system,
Right.
my measure of control, my measure of reasoning
Correct.
with my child trumps any law.
Okay. Now that's you in the old school way of thinking, of which that you came up in.
But I'm saying that's a now thinking. I believe that
Yes.
look, yes, more so today. There's that law that's there, and there are those children who have taken advantage of that law.
Yes.
I'm saying that household, your household, strong on principle and value with all the challenges that you may encounter in your household, understood by your children, that is your principles and values in your household that come first.
Before any outside
Before
interference.
any outside interference, which
No,
means you as a parent
Yes.
positions yourself
Yes.
with that child to reason, to push him or her to think for themselves, and exercise the responsibilities that you expect. But you're going to be there for the guidance. I'm saying, as difficult as parenting is, that your value system trumps that law that you're talking about.
Okay. And I agree with what you're saying, Doctor.
If you are exercising your parental responsibility and self-respect as a parent with your child.
And this is something that the government or the people that's responsible for looking over you need to understand when it comes to the area of correcting your children. Now, in this apprenticeship that you were speaking about,
Right.
which we don't see happening, or is probably not happening, or it should be happening in the household with your children, your children.
Yeah.
The first apprenticeship comes when your children are given chores to do.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's your first apprenticeship. You had chores. You got to wash your dishes. You got to dry the dishes. You got to put out your trash.
You're going to
gotta
give
do
them
your thing.
responsibilities.
These are the responsibilities in which that you make your children understand that they need to be doing to help along with the household chores and this and that and the other. No grumbling, this and that. Another thing that needs to happen is to get your children back in the seats of the dining room, living room, table, where it's and eat properly. Don't go and get some pizza and put it on the table or put it in your room. Bring them to the table. Teach them those manners. Teach them how to sit up at a table and eat like children, like how does a
you're speaking to some of the things and saying some of the fundamental values that begins to shape self-respect and responsibility.
Because you can go to the marketplace and bring home some dinner in a plastic bowl and give it to them. They're in their room looking at
No, I get you. I get you.
Playing again. Bring them back to the table. Have discussions on manners. Have discussions on what you have to do after that.
No, let's have discussions. Let's have discussions and conversations with our young people about what their day is like today.
What's their day?
Let's have that conversation.
Talk about your homework expenses.
Yeah. Well, let's have the conversation on some of the real issues that are impacting their daily lives. Those are the things that we need to do.
Go back to other than sitting up and blaming our children in the sense that we're giving them a Nintendo game, a PlayStation, and don't realize they're being subliminally controlled by these devices. Where you guys were talking about when they're not seeing that. They're seeing that this AI thing these people using is more than finding out for themselves, going to the library and understanding what
I got you. I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. It's a mutual responsibility that we have for our children, and I'm just saying, in the scenario that you've given, fundamentally, I as a parent, I will not forfeit and give up what is my self-respecting right and responsibility
As a parent,
and forfeit it to the law to deal with. I know that law is there, and if I've mistreated, if I have put myself in a position to mistreat my child,
yes,
where my child uses that law that's there, I too, as a parent, have failed that child because I've lacked the reasoning and the communication to meet that child on a certain level of self-respect. I appreciate your call.
thank you very much.
Take care. On that note, people, let me just give a heads up on some things. Next week, this is the next 2 weeks, actually. Next week, because there's been lots of conversation, we're dealing with an issue. It's an update, actually. Land conflict in the economy, the role of the Constitution. This is an update. I got the Brown case, and I've been very supportive of following that case because I treat that case like a landmark case for others who have comparable issues but haven't acted. But the Constitution plays a role in that case, and I know I have George Brown, the Brown family, coming in, sharing an update on that, speaking to some executive issues as a result of their case, dealing with some separation of power doctrine. So we're going to get into some of that conversation next week. Following week, I have, and this is confirmation, with Assistant Police Commissioner Antoine Daniels, and I think we might have the police in, and we're going to have some conversation. That's in 2 weeks. So that's what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. Just sharing it with you, the listening audience. So stay tuned, and we look forward to having you tune into On All Fronts next week. Keep the peace, people. And if anything, after tonight, listening and talking to our young people, our youth, now listen to them, have a conversation with them. And you saw how challenging it is for some of our boys to have some difficult conversation. It's not all of them, but you see that what we experienced tonight, that's very common with our boys. We have to engage them and pull out of them more a self-assurance and self-confidence in the difficult conversations. So keep the peace.
You'll never need to listen to any other radio station again. We're just that magical.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now. 102.7